Welcome to Let's Talk Gardening. I'm Norma Samuel with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, UF-IFAS Extension in Sumter County. We're still on the COVID-19 stay at home, so I'm recording from my backyard. And today we're going to be talking to you about vertical gardening. And here we have a bucket system, and it may look familiar to a product that you've seen on TV, different version. We use the bucket instead, and we have in our system tomatoes growing from the bottom and squash or cucumbers growing from the top. And we will talk about this a bit more. So I'm going to show you the steps and then get back to what's going on. And Lesroy Samuel, my husband, is going to walk us through a demonstration of how to set up the bucket system. So here we have a 5-gallon bucket that you can get at any hardware store, big box store. And we have a hole drilled in the center bottom of the bucket. That's going to be the planting hole. And then we have little holes punctured around the bottom and also on the sides, and that's to allow for drainage. In terms of potting mix, we use regular potting mix, and we mix it with some composted manure just so that it's not too light. Do not use soil. If you use regular soil or garden soil, it's going to be too heavy, and when you water, it's going to become like concrete in the bucket. So you need a mixture, maybe around 50-50 of the potting mix and the composted manure. So here Lesroy has a piece of cardboard. So he has a circle in the cardboard and then a slit down through it. And if you could go through the steps, Lesroy, of how we're going to put this together and get that tomato plant at the bottom of the bucket. So you can see what he just did is that he put the tomato plant through the slit and then turn it upside down. And then he's going to guide the tomato plant. He's going to loop it through that hole in the bottom of the bucket. And you could see the tomato plant coming out under there. So that's that. And then the next step would be to put the soil in, and then you're keeping the handle on, and we're gonna hang that on the system that we have. Lesroy is gonna tell us about the system that this bucket is supported on and how he goes about hanging the buckets.
So here we have the finished system. In terms of construction pieces, you need 2 landscape timber as a support. You need a header, as I call it, where you could hang the buckets from. You need some hooks that you hang the hand of the bucket end, and you need 2 cross pieces, as I call them, as support bar. The reason for the cross piece is that when I started initially, I used the kids' swing that they had outgrown and were not using. I quickly realized that the weakest part of the system was the handle for the bucket. With the weight of the potting mix and the plant itself, the handle will snap. So I figured that I need to put a support system, so that's where I came up with the crossbar pieces. As you can see, the bucket is resting firmly on the crossbar, and the tomatoes are coming out from the bottom between the 2 crossbars, and you have the cucumbers or the zucchini going on the top. Initially, when you set the system up, the tomatoes are going to grow and curve up naturally and then straighten back out with time.
And you can see how the tomato has curved here, but as Lesroy said, they're gonna, grow straight downwards with time. So Lesroy, how much did this all cost you to set up one of these? And you have 6 buckets on here.
Yeah, I have 5 different systems, so I label them Topsy system 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. Topsy 5 has 5 buckets, Topsy 2 has 7 buckets, and the 3 system have 6 buckets. So each bucket is $2.96. The landscape timber for the uprights are about $3 each, about $2.50 for the crossbar and the headers. A complete set, the nails are, I think the nails were 28 cents each.
Any particular thing you want to tell them, with regards to care of this system?
You gotta water daily. Watering is very critical. You gotta water every day so it doesn't dry out completely. So I use a regular hose with a shower head on there and water, and that's how I fertilize it as well. The beauty about the system in terms of fertilizing, the tomatoes are getting a double dose of the fertilizer. They're getting it from the root, and when it drains through to the drain holes, it is also getting absorbed on the plant itself.
Okay. Now, how would you say your production in these buckets are compared to growing in the ground?
The beauty about the bucket is that in the bucket I only use the determinate varieties of tomatoes. But it allows me to use varieties that are not nematode resistant in the buckets. Those varieties I would not be able to plant in the soil, or they would get nematodes. So it gave me that added advantage. The other advantage is because I'm using the top part of the bucket to grow cucumbers and squash that are also susceptible to nematodes. So I'm getting 2 crops from each bucket.
Lesroy, tell us how you would compare production in this bucket compared to what you plant in the ground. Do you get better harvest? Any advantages?
Yes, I've observed that you harvest about 1 to 2 weeks earlier in the bucket system. The reason being is that you have more exposure to direct sunlight than if you have them in the soil. And in addition to that, you don't have to stake the tomatoes because they are self-supporting in this system. In addition to that, because they're right at eye level, you're able to see if there are any distortion in the plant, if they're having any pest problem, or if you're having any disease problem, because they're right in front of you all the time. And there's no weed control in this system.
And another thing I would say is that you don't need a lot of space. So that's another advantage for, persons who want to grow tomatoes or peppers even, because we've had peppers in these, and squash or cucumbers. They can easily plant these in a backyard that doesn't have much space. Thank you, Lesroy, for showing us your garden today. Thank you, Lesroy, for taking the time to show us about your bucket system. And we appreciate you sharing with our audience how creative you are with the techniques that you use to overcome the challenges that you have in gardening. This is Norma Samuel with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, UF-IFAS Extension. Thank you so much for joining Let's Talk. See you next time.